hiding it.
Oh shit, this bitch been skittering all day. Do you wake up and skitter, or is it like you have to get into skitter at like night, like after you've done your professional work thing?
I think it's like a gradual process. Like,
oh yeah.
It's like baking fine bread, you got to let it rise first and then you got to bake it. So, it's an overtime thing. You got to let the skittering go faster and faster as the night progresses until you're unstoppable.
Yeah. A case of the unstoppable skitters, as the old adage goes. Yeah, for sure. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to A Candid Conversation with. My name is Breezeby, and it has been more than a while. I've decided this is season 3. Every time I burn out and then come back, that's a new season. So this is season 3. And we are kicking off with just like the most creative ethereal being I could gather from the forest. And I'm super excited to talk to you today. So who are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Luna. I do shit sometimes. I'm a witch, I like spooky shit, and I make spooky shit. It's kind of what I do.
You do, and you do it really well. You and I met, I'm pretty sure you rated me, and I think we were playing probably one of the DreadX collections or something.
Yeah,
do you remember?
It was either, it might have just been through the DreadXP Discord, and then maybe we rated each other, but I would have no clue of the game. I'm really bad at remembering that stuff.
Yeah, but we're indie horror aficionados. I would say you more so than me. I feel like you are exclusive indie horror. You're really good.
I'd like to think so. Kind of, sort of. I feel like I haven't been on the top of my game as much lately, but that's my number one. That's my passion.
What would you consider the top of your game? Like playing well, or just like doing a lot of spooky content?
Just doing a lot of like indie horror, like day after like day, kind of. And I feel like I've had a little bit more variety in there, partly because of my own sanity and partly because I get distracted.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what I mean by the top of my game, is just like playing it all the time, which I do anyway, so I don't know.
No, that's like, I feel like you're at the top of your game more so than me, because I don't think I've played indie horror in like months, maybe. And every time I look, you're playing something new and kind of like generally spooky. I've always been curious what do you look for in indie horror? Like, what is your thing?
I gotta think. Okay. I don't like to judge books by their cover too much, but I hate to say that sometimes when I'm just like on a first glance browsing some indie horror games that I might. And I know that sounds really, really harsh, but I think that just comes from like years of experience of playing certain games. And a lot of times when like certain games might look a certain way, they might fit a certain like gameplay archetype that I just might not personally mesh with. But that of course has exceptions. If I've like previously watched like other people play a little bit of it, I'm like, oh, this is actually really dope. But I just look for things like first and foremost that just like really just like stylistically really catch my eye, that like look really just unique and immersive and really cool. Obviously, I am a big slut for the modern PSX, PS1 clunky style, as everyone is. I love it. So it's so gorgeous. I love it. I feel like there's so much you can do with it. And when I see anything with that, like I'm a big fan. Or anything that like I think anything, any game that presents itself like with a really strong theme off the bat, if that makes sense. Like if everything about their page, about their screenshots, and like about like the trailer or the game content really shows off the vibe, the aesthetic, the theme that they're really going for, like times 10. That's usually what's going to like get me to click on something and add it to my list first.
Yeah. What is something you've played this year where you feel like it flawlessly has everything that you wanted? Is there anything this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I would have to like go back through all my videos and think. That's like flawlessly I recently, not even that long ago, played That Which Gave Chase, and I feel like it reflected really well off of the little blurbs that they put off and off of like the screenshots. It just really gave that like stark, cold, desolate vibe. did it super fucking well. And of course, there have just been like tiny games in between um, that I think like I don't know did a good job about being immersive with its style. But like I'd have to like open up my itch.io and look.
Yeah, yeah. No, I realized that was a big question, and that's why I said this year, because I was like, if I say, actually, it might be easier if I say, what is your favorite indie game of all time? Indie horror. Do
Oh
you
my
have one?
god. Of all time, I have so many. Oh,
Top
another
three.
one of like this year, Lake Haven Chrysalis is another one that I think did a really good job at like encompassing its vibe and theme and like sticking to it. Um, I would say that was one of my favorites also that I played this year. I enjoyed that game so much. It really surprised me and it kind of left on a cliffhanger, so I'm like almost hoping for more out of that. Um, oh god, what are some more games that I played this year? That have really stuck with me. God, I'm the worst about, like, thinking about actual names of games on the spot. Like, I play so many. It's not that,
Yeah,
like, they're forgettable, it's just I have the memory of maybe half a goldfish.
half a
Not even
goldfish. Which half of the
not even
goldfish? Like the back or the
the
front?
tail half, yeah,
Okay.
the ass half, I think.
The ass.
Yeah. God, what else did I play this year? I mean, there were some bigger ones that I played that I think did a really good job sticking to its theme. Obviously, like Tormented Souls is older, but I only played that this year, and I think that did a really great job at what it was like advertising. Um, God, now I'm like racking my brain a little bit trying to think. I have like my issue page open right here. I'm like,
What did I play this year? Where are we? Yeah, yeah,
I need
yeah.
to start making an actual list of things that I've played
You should
because I
do a
feel like I've
tier
just played.
list. I feel like
I
everyone
couldn't.
would love to see that.
It would hurt my feelings.
Wait, it would
I would
hurt your feelings?
Yeah, it would hurt my feelings 'cause I'm like, I like them all so much.
Oh,
I would feel
okay.
mean, like, ranking them below each other,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
have been thinking a lot lately about, like, games that have just been memorable to me for whatever reason, whether they were, like whether or not they were my favorites, but have just been, like, really memorable over the years that I've played, like, mostly focusing on indie horror-wise. And, like, the ones that always come to the top of my head are, That Which Gave Chase, Lake Haven Chrysalis, like I mentioned, Moon Down, in the last couple of years really stuck with me a ton. What a fucking incredible game, I can't get over that one enough.
I haven't
Um,
played it, but everyone has told me about it, and they're like, "You
it's
have to. It's
it's
beautiful."
it's so goddamn
Yeah.
good. Oh my god. The Last Door games, I remember playing on, in browser, on Game Jolt,
Oh,
on, like, the
wow.
school computer, and I still remember those games to this day, and I've, like, periodically replay the whole series. That stuck with me a lot, I think. Not horror, but very immersive, like I was talking about before, being very immersive and, like, really sticking with its theme. Um, fucking shoot. I'm gonna kick myself. Broken Reality. I played like a couple years ago.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, it's like vaporwave on crack.
Oh
It
my
it
god, this looks
yeah,
amazing.
that's one that really stuck with me as well, I think.
Is this
It's
like
great.
oh, what is the newer one that came out that like looks kind of like this? It's like surreal. It's not horror, but it's shoot, that one's escaping me too.
I know I'm the worst at thinking of names.
Yeah, I'll have to come back to it and like think about it later, but
But
this
like
looks very similar.
Hyperlight? No. What's the other one that's not? Oh, it's like Hyper something maybe.
There's something that came out. I swear it was like in the last 2 years. I feel like it was featured in one of the like EEK3 demos, and now I'm like blanking completely. I'll have to come
I
back to it. But is
I
it
wish.
similar, like surreal, just like very kind of like wacky, or
Yeah, yeah, it has some, like, meme moments,
I like
but
that.
everything is, like, very surreal, the music is nice, it, like, stays super immersive and on theme, you kinda go around, it's, like, level to level, you kinda, like, unlock things as you go, and that's kind of the whole purpose, and then it gets a little, like, more dark, I suppose, towards the end. I think they're developing a second one now, which is great.
Ooh.
Um, I know, I'm excited for that, but yeah, those are some that stuck with me, I actually just this year also played Night Slink finally, and that was really fantastic as well. Um, that left me with like a lot of questions that I wanted answered, and a lot of theories. I also with like that same kind of like retro-y vibe that like Night Slank has, and I know like Broken Reality is like totally opposite end of the spectrum, kind of retro vibe, but uh Mothered, and the Enigma
Mothered.
Machine. Yeah.
Not
Um,
mother, correct? That's a different. Oh,
yeah,
mothered.
Mothered.
That's different.
Yes.
Oh,
Um, I
role playing
played
horror.
yeah, I played it some time ago, but that one has really stuck with me a lot too, just in terms of its like its vibes. I think a lot of games that are just like kind of make you feel stark and desolate
Yeah.
may like end up sticking with me a lot because I have so many questions and they kind of just like rattle around in the back of my brain.
Yeah. That's really cool. And so you've done a ton in the indie horror space, especially in the last like few years. So you not only were in a game that released this year, which is
that's another
so
really good one that's
cool.
super immersive. I didn't want to mention it. I was like, would that be gloating?
No. I think we should talk about that because that's really cool. Not only are you physically in the game, like you have a character model in a video game. Is that wild? Is that like
it does feel weird. Every single time I look at it, my first thought is I could have filmed that so much better. That's my thought every single time. Is like, oh, I could have looked better.
No, oh my god, you look
that.
amazing. It's you are very clearly like the most like your vibe already just fit the game, right? That just feels like who you are, right? So
yeah,
it works.
Essentially, when we were putting the character together, and I was asking Torpal, it's like, okay, well, what do you want? What do you want her to look like? Do we want to like sketch some designs for it? Yada yada. They said just dress like you, and I was like, all right.
You're like, I can do that, I guess.
All right, I'll put my witch hat on, and then
yeah,
we're good to go.
There are 3 enchanted mushrooms strewn about these lands that I require for my witchy work.
Maybe I'm misremembering this. Did you helped like write parts of Hand of Doom, correct? Or like what other role did you have?
Little bits. I might have helped with writing here and there, but that primarily, wasn't what I did. I did a lot of art stuff. So, like the book that you see, the grimoire that opens up, I physically made that.
Did you really?
I didn't like bind the book myself. I bought a sketchbook, but then the rest of everything that you see, like I dunked the whole thing in coffee and I baked it, which then broke the spine and the glue completely. And I had to figure out how to fix it. And I sculpted the hand underneath. It actually has like veins and stuff, but the leather ended up covering it up.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
There's runes on the spine and everything. Yeah. All the wizard script that you see in the game and the various runes I created. If you remember Trinket, the best character.
Of course.
I did write Trinket's dialogue, and I kind of came up with him as a character. I'm like, I want a funny little guy.
It was great.
I want to find like the hood that he's wearing with all the patches and the spoon attached to it and the bone. I sewed that.
Oh my gosh.
And then of course I did some other like 2D art assets in the game and a lot of environmental like decorating throughout the levels as well. I think that's everything I did. It feels weird to talk about because I'm like, I hate it. Almost sounds gloaty, and I hate sounding gloaty.
No, but like you should because that's really fucking cool. And you're
mostly 2D art is what I did.
Yeah, no, that's super fucking cool. And you're just like a creative person in general, so I feel like you're allowed to gloat about those things because like you worked on it and you did it. So like,
thanks.
That's exciting and awesome.
It is exciting.
Did you like watch a bunch of other people play the game, or was that too weird?
I did pop in at streams. I think there was like at one point I was like I think I'd searched up like a couple people like playing it to see if anyone was playing it on Twitch, and I like popped into like 1 or 2 streams. But mostly it ended up being that people that I already followed were playing it. So I'd like pop in a little bit here and there, and like still a couple people that I follow are playing it now, which is fucking awesome. I love that so much. Love to fucking see it. But I guess it's not as I don't know, sickening for me to like watch it because I didn't have to see it every single second of every single day, so it might be like a little bit of a different vibe. But I do really enjoy like watching people play it in like small stints.
Yeah. How did you get involved with Torpal? You guys were just friends? You met through JetXP? Like, what?
Yeah, through JetXP, and then I think we just followed each other on Twitter, and he saw my art and he said, "Okay."
That's the one. That's the
Yeah,
one
he's
I
like,
want.
"Hey, you want to do some art for my game?" And I said, "Oh yeah, duh,
Yeah.
you're chill as hell. Let's do it." Yeah.
Your art is beautiful. I will
Thank
put up
you.
some stuff here
Shucks.
while we're talking. But have you I kind of want to like figure out like how you got to be Luna now. Like, have you always just primarily been an artist or a writer, or like you're clearly a creative in some way. So I just want to know like what inspires you and how you got here.
Yeah, I think I've just always been creative, but then over time, um like my interest in video games grew and grew and grew and grew. So then they kind of like ended up intersecting to what I do now. So then I get to play games and do art, which I think is super fucking cool. But in general, just since like I was always younger, I've just like always done creative shit. That's just kind of what I am. Is just doing artsy fartsy stuff. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have like art and games.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you grow up on games, or you said that's just something?
No, I actually didn't.
Fascinating.
Like I only grew up with like some games like Barbie Horse Adventure and Barbie Beach Party. Let's go.
Yes.
Like I had those on like the shitty PC ROM that I would
Yes.
maybe be able to play sometimes on the family computer that was completely infested with viruses because my sister used too much LimeWire.
Relatable. So relatable.
So like I didn't really, those were like the only games I grew up with. I played like maybe a little bit of Mario on the N64, but like I don't have like that same nostalgia that a lot of people have, despite now being really immersed in like nostalgic and like nostalgic replicant kind of content. And like really interested in like, more like some kind of retro-ish stuff, etc. But like not totally what I grew up with. I just like really learned to immerse myself and love it over like the past, oh god, I don't know, like decade or so.
Yeah.
Just kind of grew and then intersected with my art.
When did you start streaming?
Ooh, 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh my
6
gosh,
years ago, I think. Yeah,
twinsies. I think I was 2017, maybe like beginning of 2017-ish.
Yeah.
And I
think so.
I was like lonely in college. What was your excuse?
Mine was I had been watching like people like horror let's players on YouTube for a little while, for several years now. I think it started with me watching horror special effects and makeup people on YouTube. And then I think from that, when I was like a teenager, then I discovered horror let's players. And then I got into watching those for several years. And then I discovered some YouTubers that ended up doing Twitch streams, and they were like advertising on their YouTube. And then I went to their Twitch stream and I was like, oh, this is really fun. And then I joined their Discord and I got involved in their community. And I was like, you know what? I think I could do this. And so I started doing it.
And you've just been doing it ever since.
Yeah, I haven't fucking stopped. Don't plan to. It's like one of my favorite fucking things. I love that it's like helped me discover how much I love games.
Yeah. I am fascinated that you didn't actually like grow up with video games.
I know.
It's not like, bad. It doesn't invalidate you whatsoever, but I'm just fascinated.
But I always find that funny because like how much I don't know how much I just like older shitty games. Like I don't know, like over here we got, well, let's pull out the stash.
The stash, yes.
Yeah, the stash. We got this one from like 95 and this one from 2004. So like I just like really old shitty obscure games, and I go out of my way to find that shit, and people are like, oh, so you must have played them, or like you must have grown up with similar games. I'm like, no, I just love old shitty stuff. I just like I love anything old anyhow in like any genre, including mothers.
I'm
GILF mom.
There. I'm there.
But just I don't know, as I went on, I got involved like just researching like old obscure games that have just kind of like been forgotten and whatnot, despite not having played any of them. And I try to do my best to like research them and be involved. I mean, like not like the oldest series out there, but obviously like I really fucking love Silent Hill. And I learned to love that over the years, etc. And I think that kind of like brought me into like semi-retro, like diving or like delving into that a little bit more too.
Yeah. And I'm in a similar boat where I also seem to like the things that are like a little less known, which is why I think I love indie games so much, right? It's stuff that was like made with love and a lot of creativity. And like it's just cool. It's just cool. There's just like I don't
care if that
shit.
makes me a hipster and like I haven't played like XYZ popular game. Like whatever. I've accepted my fate at this point of, you know, occasionally wearing plaid and drinking craft beer and playing indie games. Like it's just
fine.
It's my fate at this point.
And that's totally fine. Do you play AAA games at all or like not really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Okay. I guess it just depends on like I play any game that catches my interest, but then a lot of those just happen to be indie games. But yeah, I definitely play AAA games as well.
Yeah. Are you a Resident Evil person, or is it like strictly Silent Hill?
I do really like Resident Evil, but this is going to sound like a sin, so don't come for me.
I'm so ready.
I've not actually personally myself with my own 2 hands and 2 hooves played a Resident Evil game myself.
I haven't either. I haven't either, and I love them.
I'm like, I know, I love them. I'm involved in some like Resi Twitch communities, etc. And I know like at this point so much about the lore and the characters and the games, but I've just still not yet played one.
I have watched people.
I know oh my god, I've watched people play all the games to the, you know, at the umpteenth time. The you know, OG 1 through 3 and 1 remake I watched so many times. Like I know it like the back of my hand. Like if I went to play it, like fuck, I could already just fucking speedrun it at this point.
Yeah.
But I haven't played them.
I know.
But I played the Silent Hill games. Actually, I think the only Silent Hill game I haven't personally played, at least all the way through, is Downpour.
Is Downpour the one that sucks? I think it is. No.
No.
Wait, am I thinking of the right one? I think I am thinking of Downpour.
The blue. Well, it's one of the blue ones with the guy Murphy in prison.
I think that is the one that sucks.
No, it's good.
Sure. I actually think that's one of the few Silent Hill that I have played with my own hands, right? Because that was Silent Hill 2 was the first horror game that I had ever experienced when I was like in my 20s, right? Because
that's awesome.
I was not a scary anything person for a long time till I got my 20s. I met my husband, and yeah, so I like loved Silent Hill 2. We played that together. It was so fun. And then for some reason we went immediately to Downpour. And I must have started that game like I think I started it like 3 separate times, and every time I was like, I'm really bored.
It does have a lot of. It was at that time when everyone was like, well, we have to make the game open world.
Right. And I'm like,
we just have to. And it gets a little boring at times, but I still have a soft spot for it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's certainly the worst Silent Hill game. That goes to Boob of Memories. Book of Memories is.
But is that controversial? Because I feel like no. Okay.
That was for like it's like this weird like top-down dungeon crawler that like no one liked. It's
Book of
so
Memories,
bizarre.
Not Shattered Memories. That one's different, right?
Shattered Memories I actually really like.
Okay, all right, that's the one I was thinking of. I've never heard of Book of Memories. What the fuck?
It doesn't even count. Yeah. It's like a weird like I think it was for some like not the PS Vita maybe?
Why did they do this?
I don't know why they did it, but it's not good, and it's not really a mainline game. I mean, even the arcade game story is way better than
wow. This looks whack. I immediately love it because it looks terrible. I won't be playing it, but I do love to look at it. Wow, that's amazing.
Not great, but it counts.
So I feel like you and I are kind of similar in the fact that like sometimes we will just watch other people play a game and be like, that's my favorite game. Like, do you have a game you've never played that you're like, that's my favorite, other than Resident Evil? Like I have a couple indies.
I was gonna say like definitely Resident Evil, but like oh man, let me think of some other ones that I've like not played that I'm like, oh, I really love watching people play this and I like know it so much. I actually still haven't played Illbleed, which is like like super notable weird survival horror game. But I've been meaning to play it Still haven't, but I love watching people play that game. I love watching people speedrun it. I love watching people make their way through it. That has to be like one of my favorite ones to watch, I think.
Yeah. Do you ever hold off on watching something so you can like play it yourself, but then like leave it for like years? Because I just avoid watching things for years.
Yeah, but only really with like new games, I think.
Yeah.
With old games, I kind of make the excuse, it's been out, I'll get spoiled anyway. It's like, if it's so old, I don't count it as like, I'm going to spoil myself anymore because it's old and I probably already like watched it or done the research. If it's newer, then yeah, I'll avoid it for like fucking ever. And then I'm like, oh, this goes on my playlist, dink. And then 5 years later, then I'm like, yes, it is time.
It has aged properly and now I can consume it.
Yeah, exactly. I think, I think that, and gosh, and the Fatal Frame games I really love watching, but I still have not yet, like, I haven't played a single Fatal Frame game as well. I just haven't been able to, like, I just haven't bothered to set it up yet, and I've, like, played so many other games, but I love watching those too.
Yeah, Fatal Frame is so good. I also don't think I've physically played those before. And I think the other one,
good.
I know, the other one, it's not Fatal Frame. It's the one that reminds me of Fatal Frame.
Dreadout?
Yes, thank you. Oh my god, you knew exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, Dreadout is one that I like loved watching, and then I went to play it, and I just got like so frustrated that I was like, I'm gonna go back to just watching this one.
I don't blame you. I honestly, I played that like a year ago-ish now, maybe. I finally played it, and I remember like years ago watching people on YouTube play it. So I was excited to get into it now that I like forgot everything about it. So I was kind of going into it fresh. But I won't lie, like, wow, it was frustrating. There were some parts that were like so jank. I could not. Why was there a big pig in the school? Why did I have to deal with the big pig in the school? That was so goddamn annoying. Yeah. Oh my god.
It's
and
awful.
I haven't even bothered with the second one because I've watched the second one. I'm like, I'm just not going to play.
Yeah. Do you have a low threshold for frustration, or are you like, will you think something through? Because I'm a walkthrough kind of bitch. Like, I'm like, I haven't gotten this. I'm looking it up. I hate this.
I think it depends on the kind of like content that it is. If it's something really repetitive, I'm like, no. If I've already done it like 2 or 3 times and it's not a puzzle, I will either just like close the game, not play it, or I will like look up a specific guide. Like there's nothing I hate more than having to like repeat myself. I can't. The other exception, or I guess the one exception to like, I will always give puzzles like multiple chances before I look at a walkthrough. Slider puzzles. I don't care. I don't care about
they're not real puzzles.
I don't care about them anymore. I just look them up immediately, or I ask my chat. I'm like, all right, who wants to do this for me? Because I'm not fucking doing this. I will pull my brain out of my ears like a clown pulls scarves from its mouth. Like, I will be so frustrated. I can't do it.
Yeah, because they're not real fucking puzzles. They're just like, you just click a bunch of times. I can't stand slider puzzles. I'm so glad I'm not the only
maybe
one.
they are real puzzles, but like, because I can't understand really how they work, but I do, but I don't.
That's really what it is for me, is I insult them because I'm probably stupid.
Yeah, I accept that. I accept that. I just that's the like one thing that immediately I'm like, okay, I'm looking at a walkthrough. Or if it's something where like, oh, this is an insta-death section, I'm just going to just look it up.
That makes me feel like, so much better because
oh my god, I am pro look at a walkthrough.
Yes.
You're frustrated, you don't want to do a section, look at the walkthrough. Why do you think like strategy guides like came with games back in the day? There's and like why do you think like fucking like Konami used to have like a hotline that you used to be able to call?
I cannot imagine playing half of these games without the internet. Like I think about that and I'm like, thank God that I was just playing like
how'd
Donkey
you play
Kong.
Myst without like Google? I don't understand how you did that.
So really, I don't think you were missing out on a lot by not playing video games as a kid, like other than Barbie Horse Adventure, which maybe that could have used
that sparked it all, really.
You did play a Barbie game recently though, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I played Barbie's Life in the Dream House for the Wii.
Was it so good? I stopped in briefly and like the vibes were immaculate as expected, but like I can't remember what prompted you to play that.
It was like a goal that was unlocked.
Yes.
To be in full corpse paint. full black metal corpse paint while playing the Barbie Wii game. I was like Googling, I was like, okay, it'd be funny if I did that while playing a Barbie game, and I was trying to find one that I thought would be like, I don't know, funny to fucking play. I was like, oh, one on the Wii for sure.
Oh, for
So I just
sure.
chose that one. It got really repetitive, but it was still like funny enough.
Yeah. Did you finish it?
I mean, it's just like mini games. It's just like 5 mini games that you can do over and over and over again. But the driving force is you unlock cute little outfits. So like I had to keep playing for the fashion.
Yeah, of course.
I had to look like a bad bitch. So,
and I'm sure you did, because Barbie is constantly in bad
Slay.
bitch mode. Yes,
Yeah,
slay.
absolutely.
Have you seen the new Barbie movie?
I actually have. I saw it like the other week.
How did you feel?
It was okay.
It was okay. Okay.
I know.
No, let's dive into it.
I've heard everyone talk about how much they like love it, how it's so good, how it's like such an empowering representation, and it was okay.
Yeah. I feel like I left with the same feeling. I definitely laughed a lot, right? I was like, oh, this is very silly, very on the nose. And I also was
I
like,
did like some of the on the nose parts.
Yeah, I was like, this is funny, this is silly. And I feel like it just like tried to make a lot of points that didn't like really connect with each other. I don't know. That was my personal thing with it, where I was like,
I think it made a lot of points that maybe would have felt even more empowering and stronger like 5 or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the points that it made aren't like still relevant, because they definitely are.
Yeah.
However, it's how we approach those issues and look at them have kind of like evolved into like a deeper dive, and I feel like it was kind of like a very shallow view of it, which I get. It's Barbie. Why would it make a deeper dive at that?
Yeah.
But it still felt like it went a little bit ham on it. Also, I think what I was mainly disappointed about it, even though I thought it was cool, is I wanted to see more stuff in Barbie Land. I wanted more of the set, more of the costumes. I'm like, why are we just in like fucking LA or New York? I don't want real world stuff. I want to see all the cool sets that supposedly it was like billions and billions of dollars and caused a like pink paint shortage. I want to see that.
That's where I was at too, where I was like, I was delighted sitting in the theater in that
God,
first like intro. I was like,
oh my god, look at the ocean. It's actually like plastic, and like the sand is just like paint with sand. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then they like we get to see it for like a couple minutes.
We went to LA and it was like, I've seen this. Yeah.
But like it was a fun movie overall. I definitely liked what it tried to do. I did feel a little bit dissed though or I felt a little bit offended with all the disses they made on the pregnant Midge Barbie doll, because I had her growing up.
You had her?
I did. I had the pregnant Midge. Yeah, she had this
never
like, the purple floral dress. And her belly had like 4 magnets on it, and it had this little tiny fetus thing. So you could like you tore off her stomach. You like skinned her alive and took the baby out of her, and then like wrapped her up in a little blanket. So I can see why they discontinued it. And like, and that had probably, thinking about it now, has probably fueled some of my pregnancy nightmares now. But like it was like an omen. But like I felt a little upset. I was like, what's wrong with Midge, huh?
I've literally never known anybody who has had the pregnant Midge. Like when they said it in the movie, I was like, oh yeah, I do vaguely remember that being a thing when I was a kid, but like I didn't fucking own it. I didn't know anyone else who owned it, and you had it.
I did. And the stomach, her like fake stomach was like hollow enough when you put the little baby inside. There was like a little like, I think there, if I remember, there was like kind of a spot where you could like snap the baby in, but not really, and it would come loose a lot. So you could kind of like rattle her around and hear the fetus rattling around in her stomach. And I thought that was really fucking funny.
Wait,
I thought it was hilarious.
Okay, so you thought it was funny as a kid. You were not holding this doll like in
traumatized.
horror.
No, I thought it was, oh my god, no. I was the type of kid that like played out the like lesbian gossip, murder, kidnapping, like dramatic storylines with my Barbies and my Bratz dolls.
Yes.
So like rattling around pregnant Midge didn't
faze you.
No, didn't really faze me. No.
Did you have a weird Barbie? Like, did you like cut the hair?
Oh yeah, we had several, because like we had this really big bin. You know those like under the bed like shoe bins?
Had one. I also had one.
We had one of those that was just filled with all of our dolls, and because they were all in this like Barbie soup. All their hair would be like horribly tangled, and then when you would try to brush it, and you can't brush Barbie hair. There's like no going back once you try to brush it.
Especially with those little fucking brushes they give you
Oh
that
my
are
God,
just
the
like
little combs.
they're so
The plastic
bad.
combs that are so useless.
They're so bad.
I don't even understand the point of it. So then their hair would get so tangled anyway, we'd start like hacking them away, and then they would like go in the bath or whatever and get like mildewy on the inside, and we'd throw them back in the box. Real health hazard, I'm sure. But like,
you just unlocked a core memory of like moldy Barbies. Like that was
the
so
water
a
would get
thing.
inside their head.
Yeah.
And then you could see like their skin would darken from like the inside, no matter how much you clean them. They would have splotches on their face. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Wow.
I think those were the weird ones.
I think I just like really. I feel like I have to like go talk about
Or
this
all-
in therapy or something. I don't know. Something just
Or like
unlocked
all of
inside of me.
I might have had more weird brats than weird Barbies, just hinging on the fact that I lose their feet all the time. So then I would just have all of these little all these girls with nubs. I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with them now. I guess I have to like role play that.
So you were over here like, oh no, Chloe's lost both her feet. She's like dragging herself on the
Sasha, help her! Get her to the limousine. She can't walk.
Get her to the limousine. She's not even in an ambulance. It's just like
Nope.
the limousine.
The limousine with the pool on top.
Yeah.
That's how you're getting to the hospital.
Yeah. Did you have a Bratz limousine with a pool on top? Because I'm a little
did.
jealous. What the fuck?
It was a Bratz one or it was like a Barbie one. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was like a limo with a pool.
That's amazing.
And you could like attach a slide to it.
Your childhood was so good. I had the Barbie plane. That's all I remember.
I did too. Yes. It was
my
huge.
God. Huge, like this big.
Oh my
for
God,
a
it was like-
child, and it rolled,
It
right?
was, yeah, and you could like take off all the seats and there was like a whole bunch of little tiny parts to it. It was like
Do you remember like the ice cube thing? Where,
oh my God, the ice cube thing was my favorite. I don't know what happened to all the little ice cubes.
no
all
one
the little
knows.
plastic thing.
in your
what
house
a choking
everywhere.
hazard. Oh
Yeah,
my
why did
God.
they make that? I agree.
But that was like the most like brain breaking thing. I'm like, how does
Yeah.
it's almost like it was on the same kind of level of like, you know, those little baby bottles that when you tip them, the liquid disappears. It was like on that level. And I was like, I feel like I'm discovering like ancient secrets or like aliens are visiting Earth and I'm a scientist who's like discovering this for the first time. Like, what's happening? It's magic.
The tiny Barbie ice cubes that like just absolutely
How does it work?
fuck you up.
I totally forgot about the ice cube maker. What a memory unlocked.
Well, you unlocked the moldy Barbies, and inside me, I was like, ice maker.
It just all connected, yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. A journey we just went on. Wow, we divulged way farther from what I originally wanted to ask you about before we say ta-ta. We're talking about games. You've been in a game. You've helped with making a game. You also made a game, just like, I think, by yourself. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
I hate to even call it a game. I always joke and say it's a glorified slideshow because it's kind of what it is. I made it for the game jam in only a couple weeks, and within that time I like completely learned how to do some basic renpy, I don't know how you pronounce it, coding. And made a whole bunch of images and scrambled and wrote a big Cthulhu-ass poem. And it was like my first project. And I look at it now and I'm like, yeah, this is like a PowerPoint slideshow with like edgy poetry. But I'm like, but I made it at least.
Yeah.
It's done.
What out of nowhere, like, were you just like, I'm gonna make a game because I think I can, or like why?
Yeah, well, I saw the game jam and I was like, you know what? Maybe this will finally give me the incentive I need to like try to make something really simple. Like, that's why I'm not like too, I'm a little nonplussed about it because like this first thing I made it in a couple weeks and I didn't expect it to be great because literally my first time working with that engine ever or learning like coding at all. So
I feel like that's a reason to be like super excited about it, right? Like, you made a thing, you had no skills in that sector before, and now you've just like made a game.
mean, it was just kind of like, look at YouTube videos, see exactly what they're typing in, type in the same thing, but then like replace the words.
Yeah. But you did it. That's how I do most fucking things.
Yeah, to be fair. I just copy and paste YouTube videos.
Yeah. Do you want to make another one? Like, are you interested in making a game?
I have a very specific plan that I don't want to foretell too much
Okay.
about. That's going to be very overarching from like readable like lore and comics to games. It's like all in this one big universe thing that I'm like piecing together and trying to learn some coding and stuff, because that's the reason I've wanted to make so many games and I've had so many ideas over the years, but I just haven't delved into any of it, is because coding is for magicians and I'm a witch. I don't understand. But now that I've like diddled around in RenP some and kind of fiddled around with like Unity a little bit, I'm trying to learn just like a little bit of basic coding. I'm like, maybe I can finally make that point and click side scroller I've been thinking about.
God, that would be so cool.
It
I
would be so cool.
So excited,
but
to
I
see
still
anything
haven't
like
even
that.
tried. I've just been like sketching. I'm like, yeah, someday.
I feel like sketching is like more than I could do, even though. Like, I feel like just to have.
You can do that.
Oh, I don't know, girl. I don't know about that. Not the way you can, for sure. But if you do end up like starting the process of that, I would love to hear about it, because
of course
I just like, I'm fascinated with coding. I'm fascinated with like the process of making a game, and like conceptually I'm like, I could make a game, but I can't. There's so
exactly
much.
That's the same thing. Like I love getting my hands in like behind the scenes game stuff. I love like following developers on Twitter and seeing all the back end stuff. I love ripping game models from old games and opening them up in Blender and messing around with their polygons and like looking around like the set pieces and seeing how they built everything and seeing how textures and UVs work, even if I don't fucking understand what the fuck a UV is.
Yeah, no.
Like I love getting into all of that, so I'm like, oh, maybe I could, and then I like try to actually sit down and do it, and I'm like, this is so hard, I can't do it.
Yeah. No, but you could someday. I feel like I believe in you, and you have enough developer friends at this point where they could be like, all right, Luna, I'm going to show you how to do it. I was going to say they would teach you, but like I probably would also be like, here's my idea. Can you guys just like
give me all the code and just like
I'll finesse it at the end, but like I don't want to do the actual coding part. Yeah, no, I'm totally there with you.
So someday it'd be cool to have like one thing that's just like 100% like I did all of this, even if it's bad. But
I feel like you can get there. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your blessings.
Anytime. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you forever, especially because it is, as we said, Skitterers Friday. Is that it?
It's Skitter Friday.
Skitter Friday. Yeah.
Happy Friday, my Skitterers.
Yeah. Happy Friday. There's skittering to do, so obviously I must let us both skitter off. But before we do, is there anything you would like to plug, and like where can people find you?
I'm still calling it Twitter a lot. You can find like all of my art I post there. I will like share games that I like or screenshots that I like, but I do post all of my art there, and I think you can find all my links there too. And most weekdays I am live on Twitch playing weird indie games. And I post my art on Instagram too.
Fuck yeah. Well, thank you for doing this. This is super fun.
Thank you for having me.
You are lovely to talk to. And hopefully sometime when you start to build that game or whatever, or if you just want to come talk about Barbies again, we'll just do that.
Barbie talk. Next time will be my scene talk.
Stop.
Sorry to unlock that.
We can. All right, my friends, that is it for today. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.